So if you want to find just a 4-point position first off, okay? So knees are just under your hips, wrists under your shoulders. And if you start by working into a big breath out, tucking your tailbone under, pressing your hands into the floor, drawing your chin to your chest and really doming through the upper back. And then breathe in and reverse that action. So we've got that sinking into the lower back, we've got that elevation of the chest, the head, the neck, and then reverse that again with your breath out. And again, breath in. And breath out. So make that just your own time, your own rhythm, with your own breath for another 3 to 4 reps. So that easing of the undulation of your spine. Like I say, work with your breath, work with your inhale, your exhale cycle. Perhaps see if your exhale can be slightly longer than your inhale. Just give yourself these little challenges through a couple of reps here. That's good. And from there, if you just start to take a little bit of sideways movement through a neutralish spine. So we're not going to be in too much of a cat or a cow. We're just going to start to take these little side bends. Again, you can dictate your breath on this one. Where it feels like you are intuitively wanting to breathe out and breathe in. For me, I breathe in as I sort of return back past center and breathe out as I go into my side bend either side. Nice work, guys. So if you want to start combining a little bit of the cat-cow action as you undulate the spine and move through your side bends. Again, see what that feels like for you to go into that doming of upper back as you crunch into your side bend position. If it doesn't feel natural, then don't necessarily force it. But again, the more movement you can get into your spine, the better. Excellent. Good job. Have a little reset from there. Give your wrists a little roll if you need to. If you've been typing already this morning, then that might be a little bit of uncomfortable being in that 4-point. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to set up so that I've just got my couch here. If you've got a seat, if you've got a desk, a coffee table, something that's about this kneeling height anyway, this will work perfectly. A little futon or something will work ideal. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into a 90-degree position with palm, elbow into the shoulder joint, okay? So from side on here, my right hand is going up, sitting itself in this 90-degree position on my couch. Left hand stabilizes, rest of my body is in that same 4-point position, okay? All I'm going to start to do from here is just lower my weight into that right shoulder and then move top to bottom, or front to back, up to down, whichever way you want to look at this, whilst this shoulder stays fixed, okay? So this is the action that you'll get, but the action won't actually come from the shoulder. The action will come from the rest of your body moving, okay? So in terms of that setup, it's only the forearm that's resting on the edge of the couch there, okay? From there, like I say, we take this nudge forward and back. We take a little sit towards the heels and drift forwards or upwards over about 4 or 5 seconds. Cool. Now from here, what you're going to do, you're going to add an additional little reach with this second arm that's currently stabilizing you, okay? So my left arm is now going to go from being underneath my left shoulder to reaching out towards what would be kind of a 9 o'clock or a 3 o'clock, depending on which hand you've got, okay? Slide back in so you're under the shoulder again with the left hand or the supporting arm, and then slide out on a slightly different angle. So go for a 10 o'clock or a 2 o'clock. And then slide it back in. Go for an 11 or a 1 o'clock. All the while you're maintaining this little just drift down, this little drop down into the fixed arm shoulder, okay? Then what you can do is you can combine those two things. So if I start to sit my hips back or downwards, again, whichever way you're looking at this, I sit my hips back and down, and I'm going to be able to create another reach that's a little bit further behind myself. But all the while, we're mobilizing the front of this right shoulder, this pec, this bicep. You can do the same thing as you slide forwards. You can reach up, or you can reach out. There's no right or wrong way to do this, really. Just see where you can build up the nicest kind of release, stretch, whatever you feel. In terms of breath on this one, guys, you want to be breathing out as you lower down, as you reach away, and breathing in as you return back to pretty much the stretch coming off. So I'd go. Awesome. Make these your last couple, and then we'll change over to the other side. Good job. That right side, or the side that's just been in your fixed position, should really be feeling quite free there now in comparison to the other side. So set up exactly the same way, the opposing shoulder. You're in that 4-point. Again, it's that 90 degrees. With the elbow. The forearm itself is what stays ultimately attached, if you like, to the surface, whether it's couch, coffee table. And then from there, initially, just to work this one-dimensional action, we're just going to rock top to bottom, front to back. Again, if you feel any pain with this, any real discomfort that's different to just a stretch, then come straight out of it. You don't have to drop your weight into this as much if you're feeling like it's really causing you some aggravation. Hopefully, though, it does feel quite safe, even if you are just not as heavy through the shoulder of that 90-degree arm. From there, start to add those little reaches away from that fixed position. So if you reach towards a 3 o'clock, a 2 o'clock, a 1 o'clock, or a 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Then the breath out comes as you move away from that fixed position. Then you've got the option of putting into combination those couple of actions. So you're front to back and you reach away. So you can perhaps just increase that range a little bit further. Couple of reps in your own time as your last round. Very good, very good. So your final one today, staying in a grounded position and continuing to use what you've got there as couch, as stool, whatever it might be. I'm just going to flip myself to side on just so you've got a slightly different perspective on this one rather than me sticking my backside down the camera. What you're going to do is you're going to go arms out to long. So what you've got set is your little fingers on top of a surface that you've just used. Okay? So rather than being in your 4-point here, your 4-point is now going to be with arms extended through the shoulders. Again, you can apply a bit of caution on this one if you need to, if it doesn't feel like it's overly safe to get into this bit of shoulder extension. All you're going to do from here is let your chest lower towards your thighs, towards the floor, and then come back out, okay? So it's your breath out that takes you through this lowering phase. My hands are fixed on TV unit here. Breathe in to return. We're just trying to create this overhead extension and this thoracic extension to take us out of this slouchy forwards type position, okay? Again, as soon as I find anything here, and as soon as I lower my chest towards the floor, I get all sorts of clunks and creaks through my upper back. I'm quite rigid through here. So this is one that I don't need to do a huge amount of moving into to get some real benefit. Now your little add-on from this is just creating a little bit of rotation out of your rib cage itself, okay? So all I'm going to do when I find this overhead position here this time is just slightly rotate my right side of my rib cage towards the floor, and then same with the left side of my rib cage passing through that middle position, okay? So right side of my rib cage, I'm rolling just down towards the floor, and then same with the left side. Not a big shift of my hips to allow me this whole heap of freedom to go left to right. I'm trying to keep this all about the rib cage and thoracic spine. Again, I work this breath out as I rotate, and this breath in as I pass back through the middle, and then breath out as I add this bit of rotation under. Go one more on your left side, one more on your right side as your final couple of reps.